This is Perp, back with another video, and I just got done watching Doom Patrol Season 2, Episode 7. Last week was really dope. I would have to say, first off, this is definitely, I would have to say, my least favorite episode. It wasn't bad, but, there was definitely some key things that we learned in this episode. But other than that, it was kind of filler for the most part. Not what I was expecting, but you never know what to expect with the show. Anyways, the episode starts off with Cliff getting back to Earth and him trying to figure his way back into the mansion. Meanwhile, Rita's having kind of like a nightmare about her mother, but also just dealing with real life stuff as well. Now, Ronnie gets to meet Larry and the whole entire gang. Cyborg thinks it's that time. While this is all going on, some more weirdness ensues as this package shows up and it has a blank canvas. Now, I had a prediction that I felt like Mr. Nobody has something to do with what's been going on this season, since he's probably out of the painting. And I don't know if that's still true. That's still left on the table, but there's this pink dust stuff that like gets into everybody's system and they immediately start acting weird, but we'll get back to that. We get more of Miranda's character throughout this episode, and her kind of personality. She really gravitates towards people. I would say people gravitate towards her personality a lot because she just comes off as lighthearted and kind, but she definitely has something up her sleeve that I feel like won't play out until probably the end of the season, or something to be teased for season 3. We will have to just wait and find out. But while these characters are starting to act weird, like Larry wants to go see his son and see what's good with his family, and knowing that's a bad idea. And speaking of more bad ideas, Ronnie and Cyborg get together, and Cyborg is about to play doctor and whatnot. And thank God that Kipling, I think that's how Kipling, he pretty much showed up and said, hey, you guys been infected with these pink little monsters, or that are making you pretty much make bad decisions, and they're kind of feeding off of that. And I really like how they had the whole slideshow pretty much explaining the scants and how terrifying they are. They're not really that threatening, honestly, but the only person that's really immune to this whole entire thing is Miranda. She's the only one that kind of thinks reasonably. So then Cyborg gets the idea to go into the painting, and we get our reintroduction to the beard hunter, and he's pretty much tells us about Mr. Nobody, like he went to go join some shitty animated series. So is Mr. Nobody going to pop up on the Harley Quinn show? That would be pretty damn dope. I miss Mr. Nobody. I want him to pop back up eventually at this season. If not, we could save him till next week. But they get captured by the scants, except for the beard hunter. While this is going on, Cliff is still trying to find his way back. His legs stop working for some odd reason. He runs into this this young cat that he makes him do shout outs so Cliff can use his phone, and the last person he calls is his daughter, Clara. And he just kind of says, it is what it is. If you don't want to come find me, it is what it is. And then Cliff's legs start to work again, which I guess he definitely needs some new upgrades because his old tech is kind of weared out. Anyways, now this is probably my favorite part of this whole entire episode. Niles kind of going back to where he met his love, the mother of Dorothy, and he's calling out to her saying like, What should I do? And gets the wrong response, and the Candlemaker pops out, and we learned a lot more about Candlemaker and her ancestors. Dorothy's ancestors pretty much created this being. We don't know why or how, but that's pretty much what's going on with the Candlemaker. And Niles is really terrified at this point. Well, we'll get back to that as the gang meets the Queen of the Scants. And like I said, they're all kind of under this spell, and she's getting ready to pretty much kill all our characters except for Miranda, as she's pretty much kind of immune to this, which is, I think, a big key thing about her character. But Hammerhead pretty much pops out, wrecks shit. They do it in a really good way that it makes it believable. She uses strategy to kill off the rest of the Scants. They're kind of stupid. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the Scants. I almost completely forgot to talk about Rita in this episode, because, you know, she kind of has this back and forth with this other mother. You know, she's, you know, doing a little side job, and they have a lot in common. You know, she feels some type of way about how she talks to her daughter, and feels like she shouldn't talk to her daughter like that. It might have an effect, but she kind of learns some things from her as her being a mother, you know. And I really liked that character and that little aspect of it. But to see Rita continuously saving people throughout this series, well, at least this season, is really dope. She's being very heroic. She saves somebody. Everybody is now coming back to their senses. Ronnie took some of this stuff, which I don't know if it's going to have a negative effect on her or not. We're just going to have to wait and see why she took it, why she's being so secretive about it. Now, this was a surprise, seeing Clara pop up on Cliff. So are we going to get to see them kind of reconnect? And this will be good for Cliff's character, you know, because he's really pissed off at the chief. Like, he goes around he wants to kill him right now. But, you know, it's going to be dope to see this. So the episode pretty much ends with, you know, we get the same scene with Jane and how she's dealing with everything, and everybody's kind of ignoring her and thinking that, you know, she could have done this. But there's something weird going on the underground, considering one of her personalities has her whole place kind of shut down, which is kind of suspect. It has something probably to do with Miranda. Maybe she's trying to reform all these different personalities in her image. We'll just have to wait and see. But with everything with Niles now, you know, I think at his last days, he had Kipling show up and says, I need a day, you know. And I think what's going to end up happening for the season finale, I think the chief might die. That might trigger Dorothy. I don't know. This might be a whole entire new shift going into season 3. But let me know how you guys feel about this episode in the comments below. Till next week, I will see y'all later. Peace.
The things that we believe about ourselves. When I say we come from kings and we wear crowns, and we need to uphold ourselves and not call ourselves savages and gangsters, and not embrace that culture. Or any of these people are like, yo, I'm ready to die. Even if those are terms that we've heard before, it's more as like, yo, I'm ready to push it to the limit. I'm ready to get all I can get out of this life. I'm ready to give them all my passion, all my drive, all my hard work. So when it is said and done, so when the curtains do close, you're like, yo, that motherfucker did it.